said this is rigged? Who said Young Money? Did you just say NASCAR rigged the race for time? Young Money. Young Money. Let me ask you a question. Why would NASCAR rig this race for, of all teams, 2311? We got a Category 1 Hurricane Hocevar spinning up on the front stretch. That's real. That's very, very real. Welcome, everybody, to this episode of the Cutline Post-COTA edition. I am your host, Armando DePaul. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I am intentionally going to try to make this episode a little bit shorter because I don't know if you guys have noticed, my face is a little bit puffy. And that is because I got my wisdom teeth removed on Friday. So, you know, usually when your wisdom teeth gets taken out, you're not even really supposed to be doing a lot of talking. So, this show was all about talking, but I already missed the 500. We're not going to miss COTA. And with history on the line, I'm going to intentionally make this show a little bit shorter today. I even said it in the Daily Downforce Discord, I believe it was yesterday. I hope today's race is kind of uneventful, which it pretty much was. Just so Let's Talk have to do so, you know, these could be normal again. But we will be back completely normal next week for Phoenix. I do have a guest scheduled for Phoenix. It's a regular who's been on the show before. You guys will know him. I'll announce him, you know, probably later on in the week in the Daily Downforce Discord. Young Money, again, why would NASCAR rig it for the team that sued him less than a year ago? This isn't Larson. This isn't Elliott. Why? Yeah, wisdom teeth. Yeah, they do suck, Dash. They do suck indeed. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to try to make this one intentionally a little bit quicker. Just, you know, so this episode is a little bit shorter than normal episodes. No guests this week because, again, wisdom teeth. Trying to do as little talking as possible. So just trying to do all that. So no guests this week. It's just going to be us talking. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight into it. And let's go ahead and look at the results. Now, the title of this stream, the thumbnail of the stream was, Can Anyone Stop Tyler Reddick? If there was anyone who was probably going to stop Tyler Reddick, it was a guy who finished in second, Shane Van Gisbergen. However, no one managed to stop the number 45. Tyler Reddick did something that no one has done in NASCAR history. Not Richard Petty, not Dale Earnhardt, not Jimmy Johnson, though he's won more in a row in general, and no Kyle Larson. Just none of them. No Jeff Gordon, no nada. Tyler Reddick has won the first 3 races of the NASCAR season. The first time that has happened in NASCAR history. Now, for any longtime listeners of this show or longtime viewers of this show, you know that I appreciate watching history in the making. It's why I appreciate what SVG does at road courses. It's why I appreciate Max Verstappen when he had that 2023 season. And you know, maybe a lot of people might think that this race was kind of boring. I thought this race was pretty good. We'll get more into that with the race weekend rankings, but I thought I really enjoy seeing history in the making because we're going to look back on it and think, dang, that was really special. And I'm seeing in the chat right here, Chris T84 fan, appreciate you for jumping on, man, by the way. Worst race I've ever watched, not even close, take COTA off the schedule. You are either a Tyler Reddick hater or you are way overreacting. Because if you think that is the worst race you have ever seen, you probably started watching NASCAR in the beginning of this season. I'll gladly take a Reddick win over an SVG win from ERG 199. I'll get to SVG in a second. Can't stop winning from CB. What's up, man? Glad you're having a good time. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen's voices are in Toy Story 5's official trailer. Were they not going to voice Woody and Buzz for this movie? For Toy Story 5? What happened to AJ Allmendinger? I don't know. And I guess we have to look at the results and see. He finished 9th, so he got a good result out of it. So, for Kurt Busch fan 97, SVG win would have made history too, with Ty Gordon for the most consecutive wins on the road courses. That is also true. From Glitch, not going to lie, I'm glad there's no road courses and one super speedway in the chase. Tyler Reddick is crying right now. I mean, he's pretty solid at Phoenix, so you never know. Reddick 4 in a row, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do want to give a shout out to my man, NASCAR Opinion. He was on the show last week. He was adamant. He was adamant. He was convinced. He was set in stone that Tyler Reddick was not going to win 3 in a row. He even bet $45 on it to a random fan on his Twitter, on his X account at NASCAR_opinion. Go check him out, by the way. And let's just say he's going to be $45 short. I like making fun of my friends sometimes, so I enjoy when he's proven wrong. He also predicted Larson would go winless in his 10-win season, by the way. So just want to say that. Just busting my balls of my man over here. Not gonna lie, something happened to him post race where he was on the floor with EMS. Oh, okay. Probably what happened is that I'm guessing dehydration is what happened with AJ Allmendinger. But yeah, let's go back to Tyler Reddick just for a second. I see my man Raging Knuckles is in the chat. Hope Allmendinger is okay. Great job by Reddick. I had faith in him. Not doing it next week though. Raging, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. All right. Don't jinx it. Yeah, a lot happened. I mean, Zintrex is saying it as well. Bowman with his sickness. Yeah, a lot of cool suits failing. You know, Bowman getting sick in the middle of the race. So a lot of just issues happening with a lot of drivers. Health was an issue. So race guy 123. I think Byron should have won. I mean, Byron finished outside the top 10. So I don't know how he would have won. But that's your opinion. Welcome to the Cup Series, Maya Snyder. I get. Didn't he? No, I'm thinking of Kaz Gralla. I was saying, didn't he finish top 10 with RCR in 2020 at the road course? But that was Kaz Gralla. I'm thinking of a different driver. As a Jeff Gordon fan, I'm honestly glad history has been made from AT Rider 24. I mean, yeah, like I mentioned, I enjoy when history is being made. So the fact that we got, for the first time in NASCAR history, a driver winning the first 3 races of the season in pretty chaotic tracks too, might I add. I mean, let's be honest here. You know, you think this would happen in the early, like maybe in the early 2010 schedule. With like, you know, you got the 500, but then you got like mile and a half, so you got Auto Club, you got Phoenix, traditional ovals. Not in an era where we opened the first 3 seasons with 2 super speedways and a road course. Very unlikely that a driver would win 3 in a row from that slate of tracks, but that is exactly what happened. So, and I think that kind of shows that, you know, Tyler Reddick's, you know, diversity as a driver as well. I mean, he's won at every plate track now, Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. He's good at plate racing. He's won at road courses, COTA. You know, he won a couple with RCR. He knows how to win a mile and a half. So he knows how to win at short tracks. Tyler Reddick is honestly one of the most complete drivers in the sport right now. And if you don't believe me, look at his last couple wins. You know, yeah, he didn't win last year, but I think we could consider last year kind of a fluke, given all the off-track issues with Reddick and the team. You know, one at Homestead, one at Michigan, one at Talladega. Obviously, this year's won 2 plate races in a road course. This is a guy who knows how to get it done at really any kind of track. And I'll be honest, if there is one guy who I thought was going to win 3 in a row to start off the season, I would have never picked Tyler Reddick. I maybe would have picked Bell, Larson, Blaney, Hamlin. I would have never picked Tyler Reddick to do that. Not saying that Tyler Reddick is a bad driver, but you know, do we really think 2311 is capable of winning 3 races in a row like that? Obviously, now we know they can. You know, usually pick like one of the elites of elites, like a Larson, a Hamlin, or a Bell. You know, you pick one of those guys, or a Blaney. Reddick, I think now with winning 3 in a row, he's now put himself in that conversation with those guys. But before then, I mean, again, he's coming off a winless season. I would have never put him on that list. But now he's done that. He's done something that no one else in the field has done. Not Bell, not Larson, not Elliott, Blaney, Hamlin. None of these guys have done, not even Kyle Busch. So I got to give credit where credit is due to Tyler Reddick. He is on a heater to start the season. He becomes the first driver in a long time since, you know, with this new format as well, to have, you know, break the 60-point mark. He's the points leader. He's easily the championship favorite. So massive credit to Tyler Reddick for getting it done. Reddick's 11th career. Oh, let me go with AT because I know he mentioned. Did he mention something about Byron? Oh no, that was race guy. But still, I hope Byron wins this year's championship. But I wouldn't mind Reddick. I think Byron's got a shot. Dash, Reddick's 11th career win. His first time he's won at a track twice. That is also true. The first time Reddick has won at won at a track multiple times. COTA, ironically enough, the track he got his first win in 2311. Race guy, I placed a bet that Byron would win, and my friend bet on Tyler Reddick, and honestly, I didn't think he would win. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Glitch, I feel like two things will happen. Either it's someone who will miss the Final Four last year winning the championship, or Kyle Larson going full Johnson mode. Very possible for either. Race guy, I think I take a change. I'm taking changes on him on the next race at Phoenix. It goes to show to never underestimate a driver. Remember when Byron was mid as a Cup driver? That is also true 18, but keep in mind Byron was also very young in his career. I mean, a lot of these guys are still pretty young in their career, so you have to give guys time. I feel like us, not just as racing fans, but sports fans in general, we kind of just want these guys to immediately hit it off the mark. Like, if they're not good in their first race or their first game, they're immediately a bust. Like, I feel like we all need to relearn what the word development means. And even with someone like Reddick, I mean, yeah, he had a down year last year, but wins the 500, wins Atlanta, and now wins COTA. Pretty good start for Reddick. Shane Van Gisbergen. I am very happy this man lost this race because even after stage one, I was talking with a friend, and I'm gonna say a hot take. I'm really gonna say a hot take on this show. You guys can clip it. If this becomes wrong in the future, I don't care. Shane Van Gisbergen is now become one of the most overrated drivers in the Cup Series. Let me tell you why. Is he a phenomenal road course racer? Is he the best road course racer in Cup? Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that. But I hate when people say once he figures out ovals, the field is going to be doomed. Folks, define figuring out ovals. Because I'm going to tell you what I personally believe SVG's peak at an oval will be. His peak at an oval will probably be either, and I'm talking his absolute peak, will probably be Bubba Wallace. Fringe top 10 guy, might win one or two oval races a year. That's it. Can we please stop acting like SVG will be as good as Elliott, Hamlin, Larson, Blaney, Bell? Guys, SVG of the three drivers at Trackhouse, he is still easily the worst at ovals. I will still take Connor Zillage over an oval, and I'll easily take Ross Chastain over an oval. But people who keep saying that SVG is going to become like the next Dale Earnhardt once he figures out ovals. Do I think he can win an oval in the future? Maybe. He's figuring out super speedways. He's up front there more. He barely runs top 15 at most ovals nowadays, which is impressive. Don't get me wrong, but can we stop acting like SVG is just going to go out and lead 300 laps at Martinsville? That's not going to happen. And that's not me disrespecting SVG. I'm just using the same logic that people are saying that SVG is so good at road courses. We got to remember the field is still predominantly oval drivers. And I've said it on previous shows before. SVG at his peak will be the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th best oval driver. He will not be a top 10 oval driver because there's too many good oval drivers out there. I'm not going to go into it because, wisdom teeth, not trying to talk as little as possible, but this is why I'm happy he lost, because maybe people can start realizing that this guy is not, just unstoppable, that he's not the next coming of, Richard Petty. And I'm happy that people kind of realize, oh, he's actually beatable. Because, yes, SVG won 5 out of 6 road course races last year, and I think the margin of victory was like 10 seconds average. But everything went perfect for him. Not everything's going to go perfect for him every week. Things weren't perfect for him this week, and he still finished second, but when the long run came, he had nothing for Reddick. Absolutely nothing. So, I'm happy that SVG lost, not just because I don't like the guy, but I'm just tired of hearing people thinking that he's going to become this god of the Cup Series, which is not true. So please relax. Christopher Bell, I texted my friends in the chat that I was more worried about Bell with the fresh tires than SVG pouncing Reddick. I didn't think SVG had the speed. However, Bell, once he kind of got to like 3 seconds, he really couldn't do anything after that, and Reddick really just took off after that. Good run for Ty Gibbs in 4th. He needed it. Michael McDowell in 5th. Another good run. Good run for Kyle Larson in 6th after, taking himself out in Atlanta. AJ Allmendinger in 9th. We're hoping he's okay. I didn't see what happened to him at the end of the race because I just went from my living room up here to press record. But I've been reading you guys in the chat. I'm hoping he's okay. Let's read the chat real quick. Remember, Byron came from sim racing, so we had to adjust to real cars. That is from Glitch. Yep, I actually interviewed Byron almost 2 years ago talking about his sim racing. So if you guys want to check that out, that story is on the Daily Downforce website. You could just, look that up. I Race Guide. I think though, like, don't get me wrong, it was really fun, but I was dying to suspend. I was dying of suspense, hoping somehow someone would pass Gibbs or Tyler Reddick, not because I don't want them to win, but for action. That's fair. Glitch true, but there were many who called Byron mid. I don't know. SVG's really good at the flat tracks. He might be like Penske, but in a Chevy. I think Byron just wasn't good in the Gen 6, just like Blaney. Blaney and Byron only get better in the next gen. Well, keep in mind, like like Byron was in what year 4 or 5 when the next gen came out, so he's got more experience. And Blaney, he was never bad. Like in 2021, he had a 3-win season the last year of the Gen 6. And if you compare those seasons, yeah, I mean, I think consistency wise, he was still better in the Gen 6 car. So I think it just has to do with a lot of experience more than anything. Raging Knuckles. This is also SVG's best track. This is also SVG's best track. We wasn't good in the Gen 6, but just like Blaney and Byron only got better in the Gen 7. Byron, Christopher Bell, Larson, Logano, he's going to have to compete against those guys. Exactly. He's not going to beat a again, like SVG. He could have beat Tyler Reddick at a road course. What makes you think he's going to beat Reddick at an oval straight up? It's not going to happen. Raging Knuckles, worst track, not best track. What do you think of Corey Day from Zintrex? I personally don't see it with Corey Day. He kind of reminds me of William Sawalich to start the year, where, I mean, he's finished better than Sawalich, don't get me wrong, but I mean, the thing with Sawalich, though, is that, he started the year off really bad, and it kind of took him half the year to really kind of figure it out. I think the same is going to have to happen with Corey Day, but, I mean, my thing with Corey is when you have a guy like Raja, who's, in my opinion, a better talent than Corey Day, he's a more polished talent than Corey Day. I think Corey Day could be solid. I don't think he's worthy of opening up a full-time ride for Hendrick again, but, again, I said the same thing about Sawalich last year, and he ended up finishing last year pretty strong. So I'll give Corey Day till the end of the year just to see where he really is in the grand scheme of things. I remember I saw Byron in like second or fourth and thought he was going to be doing really good. So later I thought people hope, yeah, Byron, he didn't. Where did he finish actually? Where did William Byron finish? 13th. Not bad. Nothing special. Corey Day's the next Casey Atwood. I won't go that far. He's a rookie in Xfinity. What about your opinion on Brent Cruz? He definitely looked good yesterday. Yeah, he did look solid. Brent Cruz really did look solid in his debut. Hot take, I don't like the chase, but it is better than the playoffs. I prefer the point system that was older than the chase. You mean the full season points? You and me both, buddy. You and me both. I doubt Busch will be any better than last year. All right. Like I said, this episode I'm going to keep it a little bit short. I can already feel the pain in my jaw. So we're going to go in the race weekend rankings, chat a little bit, go to the Discord, and then we're going to call it a episode. Let's go to the race weekend rankings here for the 2026 season COTA edition. I'll keep this one simple. Coming in third place, I'm going to put the Xfinity race, or the O'Reilly race, excuse me. I didn't think the O'Reilly race was bad. I don't think any of these races were bad this week. And it had some good moments. I mean, SVG as well, like sixth to first pass for the lead was spectacular. Had a lot of good moments, was very solid. A good showing overall, but nothing spectacular, in my opinion. It was a good race. I think third and second are pretty close. I'm gonna put the Cup race at number 2 just because I think it had a few more highlight moments. SVG and Zillage working their way through the field. You had Reddick and Blaney show. You had the strategies. There weren't a lot of cautions, but I think the race, given it had no yellows, was still a fairly good race overall. Again, you can swap 3 and 2, and I wouldn't necessarily blame you. I think they're both pretty equal. probably just a little bit of recency bias. And again, me being me, I enjoy watching history in the making. So the fact that we did get history in Tyler Reddick, that does move the cup race up a little bit, in my opinion. But I think it's easy that the truck race is number one. It was phenomenal racing at St. Pete throughout. Easily better than the IndyCar race at St. Pete. That IndyCar race was an absolute snoozer. They destroyed the racing when they put the hybrids in. Leave it to IndyCar to do things that make their series even worse. They might be as badly run as the NBA. But yeah, that truck race was phenomenal. It was amazing. So many different battles throughout. Lane Riggs getting the win at the end was also incredible. So truck race for me comes in at number one. Moving on to the 2026 race weekend rankings tier. This is what we got so far. I'm going to put, I don't think any of these races were particularly bad. I'm going to put the truck race at the bottom of A tier, and I'm going to put these two races at B tier. Now, compared to last year, I think last year's COTA Cup race was much better. I had that in the S tier category. I don't remember where I had Xfinity or trucks. I probably had them somewhere in like B or C if I had to remember, but I don't remember off the top of my head. You guys can go check, if you guys can go find that, if you want the 2025 race weekend rankings tier list is still up on Tier Maker. But trucks, I think, was an easy A, towards the bottom of the A tier, in my opinion. B tier, we got our first two B tier editions with Cup and O'Reilly, and then it's what we got so far. Nothing in the S, and surprisingly nothing in D or F tier, which I think is a pretty good start to the season if all the races are within A to C, if you ask me. And then the two races I didn't watch, the first two O'Reilly races of the year. Chase point system, low-key Rob Jeff Gordon, low-key, more like high-key. Hey, what's up, Corey? How long till Reddick loses his points lead? Where's he even? What is his points lead? That's a good question. Let's take a look. Yeah, they don't. Well, he's got a 70-point cup cushion. I don't think this is completely accurate because I don't know if Bubba's still second in points, but I don't know how accurate this is or not. It wasn't too accurate last week, but he's got to have a pretty big lead. So I'm going to go, I'll go race 12. I'll say he'll run into some bad luck, and then race 12, he'll lose his points lead. That's when I say he'll lose it. Yo, the truck races are peak. I got them. I got two in the A tier and one in the C tier. See, Raging Knuckles and Dash, they agree. Bubba finished 11th, still second. Okay, so he's still second in points. That's one full race. He'd have to finish. I don't know why it's saying responsive. There's nothing to respond to. But probably because I have a bad attention span. I think it was the best, though. Bubba finished first, still second. That's one race. He'd have time to finish last and second in points. We'll win the race and not even get past exactly. Oh, I can already feel the pain in my voice. So let's move on to the above or below the cut line. As you guys know, you can find this over on the Daily Downforce Discord. Me or someone in the Daily Downforce Discord will post this in race reactions. So let's start off here. We're going to start off with the Truck Series race at O'Reilly. What's the Truck Series race at St. Pete, above or below the cut line? 9 of y'all voted, and everyone voted for above the cut line. So 9 votes, 100% voted for above. And you can even see Maverick here saying it was a fantastic race overall. I remember they turned the Wendy's a speedway, though. I do remember going to the Daytona 500. It was my first race ever. Attended low-key best day ever. Exactly. I'm glad you had a good time in Daytona. I was there too. I took a friend there to her first race, and she had a blast. Moving on to the O'Reilly race. Was the O'Reilly race above or below the cut line? 11 people voted. 55% voted for above. 27% voted for on. And 18% voted for below. Kind of the same opinion. So far we're kind of tracking towards O'Reilly second or third. Truck is in the lead, and I imagine they're going to stay in the lead following this cup poll. Let's see what the results are after 9 votes. I'll go for above. I think it was a solid race. No. Okay, so far Cup is lagging behind. 10 votes, 30% vote for above, 60% voted for on, and 10% voted for below. So that is where we're looking at so far for this poll. So that is the was the race above or below the Cutline poll? It's kind of my version of was it a good race poll. If you guys want to vote on it, they're exclusively on the Daily Downforce Discord in the Race Reaction channel. If you guys want to vote on these polls, join the Daily Downforce Discord, come to Race Reaction at the end of every race, and then you can vote on the poll. But that's going to do it for me. Again, sorry, this is a little bit of a weird episode. But again, wisdom teeth. Kind of hurts to talk. It's hard to talk right now. But I at least wanted to get an episode in and chat with you guys, before it was all said and done. We should be perfectly back to normal next week for Phoenix. Again, I got a guest lined up. So it should be all good to go from there. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, I apologize for kind of the weird episode, the shorter episode. We should be back to going, for next week. Please like this stream, subscribe to the Daily Downforce YouTube channel. That'll help me out a ton. Check out dailydownforce.com for all sorts of great content over there. Whether you want merch, you want to check out stories, games, you name it, all sorts of stuff over there. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week for